Hi everybody, it's Laura again. This week I just have a couple questions for you. Did anybody else in this class get the email, I believe about Wednesday this week, that you needed an extra class and that you were not able to graduate in December? That was an interesting one that I received on Wednesday, so of course I emailed my advisor right away, and he said there was about 6 other students also that this mistake was made, so it was just kind of a mini heart attack overnight, but everything's good to go again today, so I'm very excited. Um, Other than that, um, my question for you guys this week is what type of, if any, real crises have you guys happened to intervene on, either within your jobs or your internships? Just wondering what kind of experience you have handling a crisis and how you intervened and how everything turned out. Um, Last week I had kind of a interesting situation at my job as a nursing home social worker. Um, I ended up intercepting a kidnapping of one of my residents that lives there. He's a fairly young guy. I think he's in his late 50s, and he's been there about 30 some years almost, because of a bad car wreck. He is unable to walk. He needs a lift and two people to transfer him from his wheelchair into his bed, and he's very, very hard to understand. His speech is really mumbled, and he can only move one arm. It's all kind of related to his accident about 30 years ago. He's just a fun guy to have around. He's got a great sense of humor. Whenever I have to do my mini mental with him, first thing I always ask, of course, is, can you hear me okay? And he'll tell me, what? And I'll say, can you hear me? And he goes, what? And then he gets a huge smile on his face because he loves to joke around. But anyways, I happen to be kind of in the middle of the nursing home. There's a center area with wings that go off, kind of like a plus sign. And I was kind of standing in the middle waiting for Social Security to call me about a couple residents. And I saw two young ladies pushing this resident down the hallway in his wheelchair. And this resident never has visitors. Um, so that was kind of a red flag right away. So I talked to the charge nurse. I said, do you know who that was? And she said, I think the one lady looks like the girl that tried to take him before. I had heard rumblings before that somebody had tried to leave with him, but before they even left the building, she was stopped and she left. Um, so of course I kind of kept an eye, and then went and looked at his chart to make sure there wasn't anybody that was allowed to take him away from the facility. Sometimes we'll put notes in front of the chart if there's limits to who can take them on pass or not. Nothing was in there, and so I went back out and was kind of standing in the center waiting for Social Security, and then I see a white van go by outside on the street out one end of the nursing home wing, and it looked like it was slowing down to park, and nobody ever parks up there because there's nothing over there. So that kind of caught my attention, and then I was chit-chatting with a couple of the aides and a resident or two, and then I saw this resident being pushed in his wheelchair down the sidewalk by one of the girls. And I just really couldn't believe my eyes. So right away, I grabbed the charge nurse. We ran down the hallway and went outside, and there's the white van with the side door open, and our resident was in his wheelchair parked, like they were going to try to get him in the back seat of the minivan. Um, so I walked out there and I said, well, can I help you? And one of the ladies was inside the van, kind of clearing room for this resident to sit on. And she said, yeah, can you help me give him a boost? And I said, no, everything has to go through the guardian. He can't just leave. And she said, no, I'm the guardian's niece. And she said, I can take him out whenever. And so, well, I will need to verify that with the guardian. So I went in to call the guardian, and the nurse stayed out with the resident. So I went in, called, the guardian said, no, he's not allowed to leave with anybody, especially that girl. She has a drug and alcohol problem. Um, And by the time I got off the phone with her, the nurse and our resident were back in. But apparently, one of the ladies out there tried to hit our charge nurse. And she happened to have her cell phone in her pocket and proceeded to call the cops. She knew the one lady, she knew her name, and she got the license plate of the minivan that they were in. When they saw she was calling the cops, the two ladies hopped in and took off and even shut the side door on the minivan. Um, so that was kind of my interesting day last week at the nursing home. Um, of course, the cop came and I had to do a statement, a written statement, and of course, an incident report for the nursing home. And yeah, my job at the nursing home there is very interesting. It's not your normal nursing home, that is for sure. So I'm just kind of wondering if you guys have had any experiences like that, how you handled it, how things came out. Um, of course, the resident in this case, he was just fine. He wasn't shook up or anything when I had escorted the cop down to visit with him, see what kind of information the cop could get out of him. Um, but he saw me coming with the cop, and of course, right away, he tells the cop, "She did it," and starts laughing. And so he was fine, still had a really good sense of humor. So that was just very interesting. I got good feedback from my supervisor at the job. Everything I did was right and documented everything correctly. So he just told me good job, and just kind of one of those weird things that happens at the nursing home, I guess, once in a blue moon. But have you guys had anything like that happen while you guys have kind of been on duty? I look forward to kind of hearing your stories and how things turned out. Thanks.